This is Beach Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all ships at sea. This is your captain speaking, Mean Gene. Mean Gene. The following will be a test of the ship's whistle, the sonar alarm, the cable alarm, and the atomic attack alarm.
Oh, isn't that hair fabulous? Broadcasting live from the new hotspot on Fort Myers Beach, Wahoo, Willie's. It's time for another exciting, award-winning episode of Beach Talk Radio. Here are your humble hosts, Kim and Ed Ryan.
Ad lib right now. Oh, there we go. Wow. No, your microphone's not working. So, folks, if you have never joined us before, this is how it rolls. We just run live. Let's see if your mic works.
Hello, 1 2 1 2.
There we go.
Got a little bit there,
There we go. Well, we're going to pull it together. So, welcome everybody. And today we have Alec. How do you pronounce your last name?
Delalo.
So we have friends where their last name is Lalo, and I thought when I saw yours, I was like, oh, Delalo. So I was right.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it's definitely one that gets messed up a little bit, but pretty close right there.
And you're from offshore lifestyle.
Off-duty lifestyle.
Off-duty. But you're promoting offshore kind of things that people would do offshore, and oh my good Lord, he's messing everything up. So tell us a little bit about your company.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is actually a company that was started by a really good friend of mine. He's actually my partner for this event that we're hosting down here on the beach coming up in April. So we have a couple partners in that. He's one of them. My other one is Mike Warner is a charter captain. And his name is Ryan Joyce, is the actual owner of the company. But pretty much the business was started a couple years ago. Give you a background on us. So we are firefighters in the area, first responders, and are born and raised here. We've lived here our entire lives and really love the Florida lifestyle of just being out on the water, being by the beach, getting to go out and enjoy everything that's so awesome about Southwest Florida and Florida in general. So I could tell you a couple years back, we were sitting around and we're like, man, wouldn't it be awesome if we had a clothing brand or something that really kind of promoted what we were about, just being a first responder, being in this line of work, doing what we love to help people every single day, every third day, day in and day out, and then really getting on our days off to go out and live what's so awesome about Florida, being on the water, going to the beach, hanging with friends, going to the local bars, and really getting to see everyone from this area and really enjoy what is so awesome about Florida. So that's where off-duty lifestyle came into play. And really what this whole business is kind of based off of is that foundation right there.
So being a were you or are you still a firefighter?
I am still a firefighter,
okay.
Yes.
So here on the beach or in town or?
So we are from South Shore Fire Department. Me and my partner are, which is right over by Daniels 41. So we cover like Bell Tower, Page Park.
We live in Gateway.
Okay.
So,
yep. So we cover your area.
Hey, who do we know over there? Oh, I can't remember his name. We used to know someone that worked over there. I'm not sure. Diana's husband.
Oh, yeah. Diana's husband. We know Diana's husband. Yeah.
We're
very close.
Know Diana's husband.
We're very close with Diana's husband.
Trail.
So you have a fishing tournament you're running?
Yeah.
That's correct. So we April 7th and April 8th, we're having our first annual.
Wait a second. Back up a little bit. How old are you?
I knew that was coming.
I'll let you take a guess. How about that?
27.
A little lower.
You're lower than 27. Anybody have any guess at how old you think he is? 25.
24. So, and my other partner is 25, and our other one is 29.
24 years old. As soon as you said 24, the ladies turned around over there or something. She's taking a picture or something like that. So, did you have a question for our 24-year-old? Oh, they know each other from fishing. I see. Very nice.
Yep. So he's our partner in this tournament.
Can you guys converse after the show? I mean, we're trying to do an award-winning show here.
We'll get back to a little later.
Yeah. So you're 24, married?
I'm not married. I do have an awesome girlfriend.
Yeah. What's her name?
Ashley.
How old is she?
She is 22.
And what's her major in college?
So she is right now, she's in nursing school. She's a
I see.
CNA at Galasanos as well.
Oh,
Nice.
right,
Nice.
right. So she's going to make some money.
Oh yeah.
Maybe one day.
What
Maybe
is
one
what?
day.
How much did you bring home last year?
You don't have to answer that.
Let me see. Let me see if I can go back to that. I haven't received my my W-2 yet.
Take
so
a wild guess. Nobody's watching. So
Oh,
20.
I think by
You
now
got your
you must have.
W-2. I know you should have tried some other lie. So at 23, what does a 23-year-old make?
24.
24-year-old. No, 23. I want to know how much you made last year.
so
As
I
a
was
fireman,
I would say our starting pay is right around 65,000
Nice.
over there.
nice.
So, but
And
we
you
do
put
other
your
stuff.
life in danger every day too. So yeah.
and you're working 3 days straight, and then you have a day off. Is that
So
how
we
it works?
we do 24 on, 48 off. So we work 24 hours straight. In fact, I just got off this morning. I left at 8 a.m. this morning and came right over
Nice.
here. But I have 2 days off, and then I'll go right back. So on those days off, I usually run. I have another business that we have. It's a sound and lighting business that we do. But for the most part, we've been focusing really a lot on this tournament and, of course, our clothing brand to really try and promote it in this area.
Well, I was telling you before we went on that we almost needed your services because it was right by
you doing?
the South Trail thing where the guy lost his load on
What?
on Daniels. He had a wood pallet.
She was telling us about the pallets. Yeah, there were some pallets that I guess were not ratchet strapped to the top of
Lost
the
No.
the
Yep.
vehicle, right?
That's right. They were not.
It's supposed to be
They
a
were
family
not on
show.
there. They were not on there. You're gonna make me get up.
I know.
I'm telling you.
She-
You're
she-
really on the edge
She
right
walked
now.
off the show last night for a reason I have no
Okay.
idea.
Anyways, so when the tournament is April 7th and 8th.
Correct. So the actual fishing itself is happening April 8th. We actually are having our captains meeting on the 7th. However, the biggest thing we're trying to get out to everybody, and not just the captains, but the entire community, is this is not just a fishing tournament.
Right.
This is a event for the entire community. So for the Fort Myers Beach community, the Sanibel community, St. James City, anyone in Southwest Florida, we are doing a full-blown event to really try and get as many people out there to raise money for hurricane relief. So I can tell you, as of right now, we have partnered with the Fort Myers Beach Women's Club. In fact, I met with them the other day. Give a shout out to Mary and Dawn over there. They've been
Yeah,
fantastic. They've really helped us a lot because I can tell you this is something that's very new for us. I mean, I'm very used to doing a lot of planning stuff with my other businesses.
You're 24.
However,
How used
know.
can you be to anything?
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. It started very early.
Sure,
So
like at
unfortunately, I
11
had
years old or
something like that. Something like that.
I'm so used to all this planning. I'm 24
Years
years old
of
now. I've done all these
experience.
events.
Years of experience. No, I've fortunately been able to be around kind of this type
So-
of lifestyle for a long time.
So you're talking a million miles a minute here. So what is a red grouper?
So red grouper is a species of fish that we have in Southwest Florida. It's more of an
Yeah.
offshore species,
Yeah.
just like any other
Now,
grouper.
let me ask you a question, a serious fishing question.
Sure.
Can you
Oh,
catch a
boy.
red grouper with a bobber?
You can catch a red grouper with any type
You
of line
can
or reel.
catch. Okay, so they're close to the top, the grouper.
Actually, no, they won't be close to the
Well,
top.
then you
They're
can't
gonna-
catch it with a
they're gonna
No,
be
bobber.
bobber-
you gotta have a
bobber fishing.
long. Yeah.
Well, how the
yeah,
hell
yeah.
long does the line have to be to
As
have
soon
a
as you get to
bobber
the
on
bottom,
there?
you can go in and put that bobber on
come
there.
on.
And
Don't
no, most-
patronize me,
most of the
man.
time-
Why
most
don't
of
you
the
just
time-
say
Less-
no? You can't
wait.
catch a red grouper with a
most
bobber.
of the time, you're not going to be using a bobber.
All right.
no.
What is the average?
He's trying to be nice to you.
What is the average? We could have said no. What is the average weight of a red grouper?
They all fluctuate. I mean, it could be
What's a winning weight?
winning weight. I could tell you at least for what we're looking for our tournament is going to be 20 to 25 pounds, I would think, per fish.
25 pounds.
20
How
to
long would it
25.
take you at 24 years old to reel in a 25-pound grouper?
Well, I guess it depends on how hard he wants to fight that day and how I'm feeling.
Yeah. Well, can you give us an answer? I don't even know what that means.
I don't know.
10 minutes.
5 minutes.
Do you have to
5 minutes.
strap yourself in and put your feet up on the boat
No.
for a red
Not,
grouper?
usually not for that. We're talking
see.
about much larger fish there, but
Well, she
no.
would because she's kind of older, so she might need a
No,
little.
I think she,
I
I think
could
she'd
do
do
it
pretty
in
good.
7
I think she'd do
minutes.
pretty good.
Yeah.
7 minutes. I
It
could
really,
bring
really
it in.
kind of depends on how quickly you can get them off the bottom. Once they're
Right.
off the bottom out of the rocks, it's a little bit easier.
What
Hey,
is?
I have a question. Can I
What you got?
ask a question? I was originally going to be doing this interview myself. However, you can see. So I
a
was reading in the
two-person show. She
information
wants
there
to try to
that
steal the
it's,
show from me, Dave.
you're going to have to do a polygraph. So the
That
winners.
is correct.
So is that a common practice in fishing tournaments?
So for a lot of ones, especially when you're doing a decent sized cash prize, which once we kind of get an idea of how many registrations we come in, we're really trying to give back a lot of that registration, or pretty much a majority of that registration money that's going into it, to our captains. So we want to do a very nice cash prize for them.
Okay.
So when you start putting thousands of dollars into possible cash prizes,
You think people get a little sideways?
People want to make sure that we're really doing everything very
I
very
agree.
truthfully, and people are being very legit about what they're doing. There's no cheating. So we're planning on doing a polygraph test for our top 3 cash prize, so first, second, and third. And we're going to be gutting the fish at the event so we can make sure they haven't been stuffed with anything. There's no weights.
Oh my
But we want people to
God.
be very
Do
honest.
people actually cheat?
It does. There's actually
What's the worst cheating incident you've ever
something-
seen at
something I
24
saw-
years old?
so I haven't personally seen it, but
Back off
um,
on the age thing.
there's
old man.
some
Are you-
certain things that
How solid are you with your girlfriend? I mean, 24. I mean, you're
Don't-
really solid.
we've been together a long time,
All right.
very
Well,
long
a long
time.
You're 24. I mean,
6 years.
Wow.
Wow.
6 years. I've known her
That's a
since
good
my
long
junior
time.
year.
I see.
Wow.
So,
So go ahead. People stuff fish with weights,
yep. So something that actually kind of
like
came
fishing weights, or
up,
like
fishing weights, bait, all kinds of stuff. So we actually,
How do you live with yourself when you stuff the fish with a weight? I mean, how to
I
win?
couldn't personally do it, but I don't know. I
To
guess
win
some
what?
people can.
$5,000?
There's tournaments
Probably
where you're
less.
looking at $100,000
Wow.
and up. So I mean, we probably won't be doing anything close to that. We'd like to be right around kind of what you're saying, that
Right.
couple thousand, maybe
Right.
$5,000.
but people still.
But
I guess.
people would still do it.
Do they have to take? Whoa. Do they have to take pictures?
So they will, because you can keep red grouper. They're actually going to bring them into the dock, and we're going to weigh them at the dock.
I love red
Okay.
grouper, my favorite fish. So
He does not eat fish.
So now I forgot my question.
Oh, well, there's a new twist on the Alzheimer game here. So besides, what are some of the other rules that people have to oblige by? Because it's for big boats and for little boats too.
Correct.
right?
So that was the big thing we were really trying to
The
do, because
big
I
thing.
mean, I can tell you, with a lot of the community that wants to get involved, like I said, this is something we really want to be a fundraiser. So we want everyone to be involved with it. We want to have as much proceeds benefit the women's club moving forward. So we want to get as many people involved as possible. So what we did was we did a 120-foot depth restriction. So what that does is it brings everyone a little bit closer inshore. I mean, it's still, you're
How do
still
you
going
manage
35,
that?
40 miles out. Polygraph, we can look at their Garmin's
I
or
see.
any of their
It
GPSs.
sounds like a lot of management here. A lot of
It is.
you got to.
Oversight.
It is, but
So I heard a polygraph is not really, I mean, admissible in a court of law. So I mean, how?
Well,
I
I
mean,
don't think they're going to take it to a court of law.
I'm just saying. I mean, do you have like an official polygraph registered person there?
Well,
or-
yeah.
So that's something that we're absolutely looking for right now. We do not have one specific person we can say, hey, this is the exact person who's doing
I
it right
see.
now, but there absolutely will be a legitimate business or person who could put on a polygraph test to make it
You
as
just need somebody's
honest and
mom.
legitimate as
You
possible.
need
I know.
somebody's mom to give them the,
The
mom
look,
eye.
the look, right?
And then
I
they're going to
can't- I
crack
still- I'm
under
still-
I bet you,
pressure.
honestly, my mom should probably do it.
There you go.
She's got that look that I promise you, you cave,
you
you cave
can't.
right
Nope.
away,
Yep.
right away.
Your whole story falls right apart.
Absolutely.
I still can't believe people would actually cheat in a fishing tournament.
I
It's
do.
like that's
Surprised.
got to be the low of the low of people.
It really seems like anytime that you start throwing money into
yeah,
the equation,
yeah.
that
That's
people,
right.
you start to see the
Money
best
makes
and the
people
worst.
crazy. Yeah.
Yes, it
Yeah.
does.
But the rest of the proceeds are going to the women's club.
Correct. So we're raising through sponsor money, through food tickets that we're going to be doing. So we're going to have food out there right now. We have a couple deals that we're trying to work with specific possible food trucks or businesses in the area that we're hoping are going to cater our food. We're going to be selling our shirts there. We're
Right.
going to be selling our tournament shirts there. We're going to be doing liquor sales as well. So
Oh.
we're really trying to raise as much money. Oh, raffles. We're going to be doing silent auctions, 50-50 raffles. So we have a couple different things that we're doing. So we're trying to raise as much money possible to benefit the women's club and really give back
Yeah.
so that they can
We love the
delegate
women's
that
club.
money back to this community and really get it up and running as quick as possible. I mean, as we can see, this area was really affected by Hurricane Ian, and a lot of businesses were taken down, a lot of current residents. So anything we can do to try and delegate that money back to get this
Yeah.
community back up and running, because
Alec,
tourism's a huge
I have
thing
an
down
idea.
here.
You need like a boat company to donate a boat or sponsor like a big.
So we are working. We are
Wait,
working on
Who
something.
you work? Oh, you don't want to say.
I can't say yet until
What
we
are
have them
some of the
confirmed.
big boat I don't have a boat, so I don't know.
I mean, in this area, a lot of the big boats you're kind of looking at. You could be looking at Freeman's. You could be looking at Contenders. Nortec's a huge one. In fact, we're good family friends with one of the owners of Nortec, and they've got a phenomenal line of boats down here.
Hey,
and they
this
do
is a
a
great
fantastic job.
opportunity to get some.
Let the people that joined us late know exactly when the tournament is again.
So the tournament's going to be April 7th, April 8th. The actual fishing is going to be on the 8th. We are having our captain's meeting on the 7th. However, once again, this is a event for the entire community. So we want everyone to come out. We want people to enjoy music that we're going to have. We're going to have some live music as well.
Who's the band?
So as of right now, we have Eric Michael Taylor. So he's
Love
actually,
Eric Michael Taylor.
he's
What kind of music does he play?
So
Country.
he does country.
Yes.
Yep.
So he's an up and coming country artist. He just recently did some stuff with like Chase Rice, Bailey Zimmerman. He's gracious enough to come down
What
here.
is Bailey Zimmerman's new song?
His new song, what was it? It's God's
What?
Get to Getting Gone is one. He's got a new one that just came out.
Yeah.
It's God's something. I can't remember the name of it.
Do you know?
But he's got a few of them.
We were saying what a great song it was last weekend when we were
Hang
listening.
on, I think
to
I
it.
could pull it up.
Yeah.
I think I could pull it
You
up.
don't need to pull it up. You're
Let's
getting
see.
a little crazy now. So
this is
have
not
you ever
a Jeopardy question.
have you
You're
ever
good.
been to the Ryman?
Where is it?
The
In-
Ryman,
in
Nashville. You
Nashville.
seem
no,
like you know.
no, I have been to the Grand Ole Opry though.
Really?
Oh,
Yep.
nice.
Yeah, I'll be at the Ryman in
Okay.
March.
Yeah,
So
we
I'll send you
honestly
some video.
love going to Nashville.
So
What's your favorite place to hang out there?
In Nashville? Ooh.
Yeah. I know it's
It
a
depends.
tough
Is
one.
it daytime or nighttime?
Tootsies. You're a
Nighttime.
Tootsies kind of person, right?
I would say nighttime. I do like Tootsie's.
Yeah.
But I do like the stage down there.
Yeah.
We like Dirks Bentley's
I love
rooftop.
Dirks Bentley's place. Yeah.
Jason Aldean's another great one. Florida
Right.
Georgia Line. So there's a couple really good ones. And I
There
think,
are.
honestly, Kid Rock during the day is
Yeah.
probably my favorite.
So a serious question for you. What do you want to be when you grow up?
Doing exactly
Why
what I'm
do you
doing
have
right
to
now.
You don't.
Well, he's 24. I mean, who's
He's
grown up at
grown up.
24 anymore?
Look, he's got 2 companies. He's a firefighter. You
Yeah.
should be doing so much.
Oh. That hurt.
Doing what we can. Who knows? Honestly, who knows what 2 years from now, 5 years
Yeah.
from now will hold. But
What year do you want to
He's gonna
retire? How
be-
old do you want to be
He's
when
going
you
to be
retire?
running for
So,
governor in a
I
couple
can
of
tell
years.
you, I can tell you as of right now, with the way that it's set up for first responders in the state of Florida, they have a 30-year high risk. I'll let
have
you do
no
this.
idea what that
Take a
means.
guess at how old do you think I was when I got hired? How about that?
18.
Pretty close, 19.
Nice.
So as of right now, doing 30 years, I can retire at 49.
And your
If I
pension will
wanted
be
to.
how much?
Thank you for doing the math because our people know that his math not good.
Dave, have you noticed it's been one insult after another since
Yeah.
the show started?
Yeah.
It's
not
like
an insult.
It keeps it exciting. It keeps
It's
it
not
exciting.
An insult. It's the honest truth. We have
Okay.
an honest relationship, but it only goes from me to you, not the other way.
She wants to be honest with me, but she doesn't want me to be honest
No,
with her. No.
Absolutely not.
That's why her hair always looks lovely,
That's right.
Alec. Yeah. So how many push-ups can you do in 1 minute?
Oh, you might be barking up the
how
wrong
many?
tree on this one.
You probably got me on that one.
No
it's not
way.
a
So,
competition.
I can
I
tell
can't
you-
do any.
You know what? I'll tell you this. We actually, at our fire department, we have a fitness board.
Yeah.
We have a leaderboard. And there's a bunch of stuff. It's who has top 5 back squat, who has top 5 push-ups, who has
Okay.
top 5 mile. I am actually on that top
Wait.
5.
For
How many in a minute?
In that one, I think it was like 62. I think
62
the most
in 1 minute.
I've ever done is like, I think 80.
Oh, 80.
yeah, now he's walking it back. See, now he's walking
I'm not
it back.
walking anything back. I'm just impressed by that number. But he's also 24. I mean, what's the?
See,
Yeah,
this is what you do.
there's got. I got to
You
get a
throw out
spread
a
though.
challenge,
If there's,
and then you walk it back by saying,
All right.
"Well, I'm old."
I'm more than double his age. I got to get. There's got to be like a spread. I got to get a point spread on
Well,
something.
yeah, we
like
got
that.
some like curve,
Yeah, it's like a handicap. I need some kind of handicap for that.
two push-ups per year.
There you go. There you go.
Oh. Go ahead, dear. Well, fishing's your thing, so go ahead.
No, I know. So how much does it cost to enter?
So as of right now, we're trying to do a hopefully reasonable registration
Mhm.
for it. So usually for a tournament like this, you're looking anywhere from $1,000 and up for a boat. We're doing $500 for a boat up to 4 anglers. However, if you want to put any additional anglers in, it's an additional $150. So like we have some boats that are registered at 6 people, 7 people, so they're paying that additional fee. What makes it kind of interesting, beneficial for them is it ups your limit on red grouper. So let's say you have 4 people, you can only catch 8 red grouper that are keepers. Now, if you have more people, you can keep more, which gives you a better opportunity to catch larger red grouper to put in for your weigh-in.
And so the prizes that are going to be
Very
given out.
confusing to me.
No. It's math.
It's
The prizes that are going to be given out, is it just like biggest or
So yep. So we are doing
most,
we're
or
doing a
what is that?
1-person limit. Max weight. So 1-person limit is 2 groupers, so they can weigh in 2 grouper, their 2 largest grouper, and the heaviest weight wins. We're going to do first, second, third. We're also going to make it interesting. We're going to draw a random number. So whatever that place is, let's say we have 30 teams. If we draw number 22, whoever's in 22nd place is going to receive a small cash prize as well. So it makes it
that's
cool.
nice.
So
Yeah,
even
yeah,
if
yeah.
like, hey, you didn't have a great day on the water, you didn't
Right.
catch all your fish you wanted, hey, you come in 22nd place and we draw that number, hey, you're going to get some cash from it.
There you go.
We're also doing what's called a Calcutta. So it's kind of like
I wanted to ask you about
yep.
that.
So it's like a side bet for the guys. So they come up. It's $100 Calcutta. Same thing up to 4 people. Any additional anglers going to be an additional $50.
What's a Calcutta though?
So
Is that
Calcutta
a kind of fish?
yeah, it's like it's a side bet. So we're going to choose
Oh.
the fish. So it's going to be a species of snapper. So we're going to draw that the night of the captain's meeting. So whether that's vermilion snapper, lane snapper, mangrove snapper, mutton. I mean, there's a couple different species that we could go from yellowtail to where, hey, guys aren't having a great day doing red grouper, but we've got a really good snapper spot that we know we can go to. And that's going to be gauged off of overall length.
Got it.
what is the winning fish weight going to be about?
It's 2 fish together.
I'm going to say we got some good fishermen around here. I'm going to say right around 50 pounds. I think
Wow.
is going to win first.
That's going to be 5,000.
We don't have an exact price yet.
About.
We're trying to gauge. That's our goal. I can tell you we haven't posted it yet. We've been trying to see exactly what we're going to be able to gauge because we want to make sure we give the appropriate amount back to our guys. But our gauge is right around 5,000. It may fluctuate a little bit lower. It may go a little bit higher. It really just depends on how many people. I'd say the more anglers we get, the more cash prize we can give out as well.
And
which is really
the
nice.
right thing to do for the first place winner, is it going to be cash for the top 3?
Oh, here we go.
Yes.
Just
So the
don't
right
even
thing to
say
do
it.
for the winners is to just give all the money back. That's really the right thing to
Correct,
do.
correct.
Right? Give
So
the money back to
everything-
the women's
So
club.
everything that will go into the cash prize, it's pretty much going to be all registration. So everything with the registration, we're going to take that allotted sum of money. We're going to cover everything because we're doing a 1-hour open bar on the
Look at
captain's
you.
meeting night. So we're going to do an open bar for our captains. We're going to cover that cost. We're going to be getting them captain's bags. They're going to get t-shirts. They're going to get all kinds of like cool little things in there as well. They're going to be getting their own food vouchers. So all their food's covered for the second day as well. So once those expenses are kind of taken care of, we're taking the rest of that money and we're going to delegate it appropriately.
Are you
So-
going to run for office? Because you talk so fast like a politician.
I think you're ready to roll.
And you're only
yeah.
24. I
Yeah.
mean,
that helps in my other business.
are you
being
going to
a-
run for office? You ever think about it?
Are you an auctioneer?
No, I actually
Oh.
I run a sounding lighting business, so we
Right.
do
I
like
see.
DJ stuff, and
Oh, we
so
might need to
I'm
chat
always
after.
I'm always
off
on the
show here.
microphone.
Yeah, I gotcha. Well, we hope you can come back one more time before the event. It's not till
Absolutely.
April, so thank you so much for coming on. Can we get a
Absolutely.
big hand for our 24-year-old guest, everybody, Alec, for his fishing tournament that's coming up in April. Thanks so much for coming
Thank you
on,
guys
Alec.
for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, and good luck with the tournament, and thank you for supporting the Women's Club. Before we get to our next guest, we need to tell you about, did I see Mike Bannock in the audience, or who? I saw somebody here. If you still need debris removal, because there's still some debris that needs to be removed, and I think you have until March 29th to get the debris to the sidewalk. Call Mike Bannock for debris removal, interior demo, lot leveling, utility capping off, and he can be reached. He's out there. You saw him out there helping us with the sand removal. He got some kind of front loader where he's picking up the sand, and he was moving the sand for us when we did that. He can be reached at 352-636-3719. 352-636-3719. Mike Bannock has been a friend of the show for a while, so give him a call. Again, somebody you can trust, just like you can trust Alex King. Real estate is moving, everybody. Real estate is moving, and Alex King is the man. If you want to buy some property, if you want to sell some property, Alex King, 239-849-3663. Alex knows everything about Fort Myers Beach and the property, whether you're buying, whether you're selling, whether you're just kicking the tires. If you got like $1 million you want to spend on property, call Alex. If you got $500,000, call Alex. If you're trying to sell something and get a great price for it, give Alex King a call at 239-849-3663. And of course, Alex King has the King Foundation, where he gives away so much money to the community. Every time he comes on the show, he's just handing out checks. He's just giving cash away to local organizations. And he's a super nice guy on top of that. So give Alex a call at 239-849-3663. I don't know if you had a chance to see our video this morning from Ocean Harbor. We did a walk-around video at Ocean Harbor this morning. What a view of Fort Myers Beach from Tom Swanback's condo on the 12th floor of Ocean Harbor. It looks super nice. Unfortunately, they got to get all their docks replaced out there because of the damage from the hurricane. And they're really, the elevator works. I got on the elevator, but I put my hands out like this because, like, wait, I don't know if I want to be on an elevator just yet, but it worked fine. So check out that video. Yes, I'm ready. Our next guest, we're going to talk about the beach school, everybody. Chris Patrica from the school board come down to Fort Myers Beach to talk about the beach school. Yeah, have a seat here. I don't know if you want headphones or not, but thank you so much for coming on. And just so everybody knows, Chris has been a friend of the show for many years. I think the first time you came on was, I don't know how many years ago, you were running for office. We were at Pete's Timeout.
I believe that's correct.
When was the election? Like,
last time I ran was 2020, but I was probably running for a year and a half before that.
Right,
So
right. So
somewhere in that time
we
frame.
appreciate you coming on. Always been a good friend of the show and always willing to come on. And a lot of stuff going on with the beach school. So,
Yes.
and a lot of information that people want to know about the beach school. So
But before we get to
go
that,
right
can
ahead.
I give a shout out to my little brother whose birthday is today? I'm not going to tell you how old he is because then you'll know
Is he
how
24?
old I am. Yes, 24, exactly.
Okay.
My brother Paul, who I like to call Paulie, it's his birthday today.
Awesome. And I know that we were trying to have you on a few weeks ago, and your mom passed away, and you were very close. And so sorry to hear that. And
Thank you.
So we appreciate you coming on today and talking about the beach school. You had a meeting this past week.
We did.
There's a vote coming up, I think, in March.
Yes.
Okay. So the first question I have for you is, the Sanibel School opened a couple weeks ago, which was great for everybody on Sanibel. And the same day the Sanibel School opened,
I know.
the kids on Fort Myers Beach were waiting for their bus
I know.
for hours.
I know.
If you had a kid waiting for their bus for 2 hours, how would that make you feel?
Terrible. I mean, I am a parent. I have currently 3 children in our system. I used to have 4. And so I'm very familiar with the waiting for the bus thing. But I didn't wait for the bus after my school and my community had been devastated by a hurricane. So when you add all of the frustrations together, it was a perfect storm of bad things that happened on one day to this community. And I'm deeply apologetic that it happened. And I know that there's a renewed focus on making sure that never happens again.
Why is the bus system so bad in Lee County?
We have such a shortage of bus drivers. First of all, there's a shortage of bus drivers nationwide. The issue in Lee County is our current system of student assignment allows, like if you go to one neighborhood in the tree line area, the elementary school students have a choice of up to 21 different schools that they can attend. So you have 21 buses going into one neighborhood and bringing them to 21 different schools. It's very inefficient. We are the 64th least inefficient school district in terms of transportation in the state of Florida. We've just implemented a new student assignment plan that will eliminate the need for a whole bunch of bus routes and essentially eliminate our bus driver shortage here in Lee County. So beginning the 23-24 school year, I'm hoping that you are going to see almost all of those waits for buses eliminated.
A $2 billion budget and a problem with busing.
Yes.
Doesn't compute to me.
Well, when you can't hire bus drivers, it's not about not being able to pay them. It's about not being able to hire them.
Mhm.
That we simply cannot get enough bus drivers to work for the district to cover the routes that we need.
Understood. Okay, so do the kids on Fort Myers Beach deserve a school
Every child deserves a school.
on the beach?
Every child deserves a school.
Does there need to be a school on the beach?
I believe that there needs to be a school on the beach. That's my personal opinion. I am one of 7 school board members. I will not and cannot speak
Sure.
for my colleagues, but I've gone through sort of a transformation in my thinking on this. Ed, you know me well enough to know that I'm pretty cut and dry.
Right,
I'm very data driven. I'm really about the dollars and cents and numbers of a decision. And I was looking at this situation as we're losing massive amounts of money every year in operational costs. Number one. Number two, the cost to rebuild a school for what is today 52 students. I'm not being a good steward of taxpayer dollars if I rebuild. And that's my responsibility. My responsibility is to be a good steward of taxpayer dollars.
Okay.
So that was my thinking. And then I had a town hall that was hosted by some of the community members or some of the parents, and something about being with that community and hearing their pleas and hearing the information they had shifted something inside of me. I have more than just a responsibility to be a good steward of taxpayer dollars. I have a responsibility to the students and families of all of Lee County. And I think that if we as a district don't reopen this school as soon as possible, there will never be a school on the beach again. And so I feel like we need to reopen it and give them and us a chance to increase student enrollment to the point where it is no longer operationally inefficient to run the school. Am I making sense?
Yes, let's look at the enrollment numbers right now that you guys have. You guys can't see it here, but I have a chart of the enrollment numbers from 2002 to 2023, and it's really declined a lot over the years. Now, why did the school district allow that to happen?
That's a really good question. I've looked at that as well.
I got the bell.
Oh,
Go ahead. So why has it declined like that?
She can't ask.
Right.
Any
Well, the reason,
questions.
by the way, the reason Kim's not in on the interview, she works for the school district. So we just want to make sure that I don't know what we're doing. We're just doing it this way. That's why. So stop asking me why we're doing it this way. So let's talk about the enrollment numbers.
So it looks like there was a drop when the bottom fell out of the housing market. That was the first time we saw a huge drop, right? You're looking there, you
2008.
see, yep.
Okay.
And then we see it sort of bubble up and down. And then around the time of the pandemic, it really started to just go straight down.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously Hurricane Ian put us where we are today.
Okay. So is it that the school district or the beach didn't promote the school enough, or did all of a sudden the school found out that that everyone was getting so well educated because they had a teacher per 10 students and they felt like it was a private school, or why? We had talked about this before, that there was a possibility, but the school district was like, it was always a little thing in the back, like we have to look at this, but it wasn't a priority.
Correct.
And then the storm kind of made it a priority.
Correct. I agree. And I mean, in life, when bad things happen, it makes you reevaluate everything. And so Ian was a bad thing that happened, and we are reevaluating everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that one of my colleagues said at the table the other day, this has to lead to a larger conversation about all of our island schools, not just Fort Myers Beach, but all of our island schools that are operating inefficiently. Whenever you're spending $22,000 per kid or $13,000 per kid, that means you're taking resources away from other students in the district. And it's really important to make sure that we're spreading these dollars evenly to each student across the district.
So you guys are working on an interlocal agreement between the school district and the town.
Yes.
Somehow I'm trying to figure out how the town government gets involved in the school district without tying the taxpayers are already paying enough in school taxes. Like, what are you trying to tie to the town?
So there's a couple of things that we need. The first is Bay Oaks, and I read your article about Bay Oaks. It's my understanding that Fort Myers Beach Elementary doesn't exist without after school care at Bay Oaks. Like, that's an essential part. If parents are going to bring their kids onto the island to work, for example, they need to be able to put their kids into school and then have that after school care at Bay Oaks. So
there's already an interlocal agreement between the school and Bay Oaks now.
Correct, but getting Bay Oaks up and operating
so
before the school opens or in time with
and
the
they
school
say they're going to
opening
do it. So
and you know, I haven't had any conversations as a board member. That's not my job. But like I said, I read your article. I believe what you said. In addition to that, what are we going to be doing in order to increase student enrollment on the beach? And I believe the town can play a role in that. There can be requirements for businesses that come in, for example, to advertise that school to incoming employees who have children that are school aged, so that they're pushing if you come onto the island to work, bring your children with you.
Why wasn't that happening before? There were resorts before.
There were resorts before, and like I said, sometimes a tragic event is what makes you reevaluate everything. And Ian was the tragic event that is making us reevaluate everything.
Somebody on the school board, I think, said during the week that if they have a kid that if they work off the island, they have a kid somewhere else in a different school, they want their other kid to be closer to the kid that's at the other school. So they didn't believe that it was the resort people were going to bring more kids to the beach to go to the school. Do you think the resorts will bring more kids?
I think that there's some discrepancy in terms of the growth projections that the district has and the growth projections that the ad hoc committee has. And that's going to be those benchmarks that are going to be in place in that ILA to determine whether after 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, we are at a level of growth that makes the operation of the school efficient.
Why is it fair for you to have an interlocal agreement that requires the town of Fort Myers Beach to produce kids when you don't do it for Sanibel and you don't do it for other communities?
Well, we've never had a Hurricane Ian before, and we need to approach things differently in the wake of this. And we also need to anticipate what future storms might bring.
Mhm.
And so having an ILA with Fort Myers Beach, I think, is a good precedent. If we have another hurricane that ruins some school in Fort Myers, then we can have an ILA with the Fort Myers city, the city of Fort Myers, Cape Coral, same thing. I mean, this is an event like no one has ever seen before, and I think it requires thinking and decisions that are different from whatever we've done in the past.
So it looks like option B is the best option right now on the table. C doesn't look like it has. I apologize to people if they don't know what the options are, but A is basically nothing for the beach, and B looks like you get the historic building restored, and is it portables that go along with that, or what? Explain option B. That's kind of everybody seems to be rallying around.
So option A is,
and I have option B
essentially
here.
Mothballing the school, refurbishing the historical building, which we are required to do, and then just essentially leaving it to see if enrollment would grow to the point where it makes sense to open that school at some point in the future. Option B is giving this community capital infrastructure. It's not portables.
Okay.
It is built. You need to look back at the first option B. The first option B was restoring and refurbishing the historical building so that it was appropriate for students to be educated in, and then adding portables to accommodate whatever overflow of students was necessary beyond the historic building. What option B is today is taking the money that we would have spent on portables and putting it into permanent capital infrastructure. So it's essentially,
what does that mean? Permanent capital infrastructure.
Building a building up to 10.4 million, minus the 4.6 for the historic building to be refurbished.
So how many kids fit in the historic building?
I don't know how many kids fit in the historic building, but I can tell you that under option B, we're looking at 80 students.
So option B would be finished when? If that was approved?
As soon as possible.
Okay, so would it be in time for the next school year?
That's the hope, but there's no guarantee of that.
Okay.
You know how difficult it is to get contractors and supplies, and we can have the best of intentions, but any number of delays could occur.
So that would be, okay, so you're going to fix the historic building, and then are you going to build a new structure or fix the structure around the historic building if you go with B?
We are unfortunately still waiting to hear from the historic register regarding whether those outbuildings are considered historic buildings.
Oh, really?
Because yes.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
The whole thing could be historic.
The whole thing could be historic. We don't think it will be, because typically a historic building like the one that's been declared as such on the campus has been created by a famous architect, and the outbuildings, there's nothing famous or unusual about them. It's just the age of the building that could potentially make them historic.
If that entire building is historic, then you have to restore it all.
Correct. We have to refurbish it all. We don't necessarily have to restore it all.
There's a difference.
There is a difference. Refurbishment is just stripping it down and making it safe, taking all the mold out and making sure that it could be restored at some point.
Listen, I'm no fan of FEMA, but I heard that you have FEMA money set aside just for that building. Is that true?
Yeah, there's a lot of conversation about FEMA that makes me nervous because I was on the school board during Irma. First thing I want people to know is being a good steward of taxpayer dollars includes FEMA dollars because those are taxpayer dollars. So I feel a responsibility to make sure that even if every penny of this is reimbursed by FEMA, I am doing it in a fiscally conservative way. That's number one. Number two is I lived through Irma on this school board, and we had $33 million in damage, 2/3 of which was reimbursed. So we didn't get reimbursed for 1/3 of those
You can't
expenses.
trust them, is what you're saying.
Well,
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not saying
You're
you
not
can't
saying that,
trust
but I
them. I'm saying that it's unpredictable.
Right.
And the other thing I'll tell you is that there are people from Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans who are still waiting on FEMA reimbursement. And how many years ago was that?
Right. So is there money set aside specifically for that building that's sitting somewhere that should be used?
There is, we will get insurance money. We know for certain that we're going to get insurance money, which is a tiny little chunk of what we're looking at.
Okay.
FEMA doesn't give you money. FEMA reimburses you.
Mhm.
So we need to convince FEMA that we should be reimbursed for these expenditures.
So if there's money set aside for the beach school, can it be used somewhere else? Will you move it to somewhere else if you don't use it for the
It's
school?
my understanding that it can be, which was very, very surprising to me. I had never heard that before. So yeah, I suppose that we could.
Do you believe that the folks on the beach can generate the enrollment numbers?
I hope and I pray that they do.
Do you believe they will? They can? Are there enough young families moving to the beach, or are you going to expand the zone to go outside the bridge?
I don't know that there are enough families moving to the beach. I have absolutely no idea what the future of Fort Myers Beach looks like in terms of home values.
Mhm.
I know the more expensive the home, the less likely you are to have school-age children, obviously, because people who are raising families can't afford to buy $1 million or multi-million-dollar homes. That's why you're seeing most of the growth in Lee County out east, because those homes are not on the water and they're not going for millions of dollars. That being said, you could have a magnet school here, a water school that would draw people in from off the island. And there are some other growth projections that the ad hoc committee has come up with that are very reasonable, very, very reasonable, that could increase population.
So let me take the other side of things. And everybody that goes to the beach school is my friend. I love you all. I don't live on the beach. I live in Gateway. So why should somebody outside of Fort Myers Beach be paying for as much as they're paying for at the beach school?
I'm so glad you asked that question. Notice I didn't say it was a good question. But I am really glad that you asked that question, because people forget, I think, that public education is a social contract. Everybody that pays taxes, either property taxes, either directly as a homeowner or indirectly as a renter, is supporting public education. In my lifetime, I will pay more in property taxes than I will get out of the system through my children's time in the school system, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And that is true everywhere in the country. So everybody essentially is a public education donor if you're paying property taxes. What's unique about Florida that you don't see in many other states in the nation is the way public education funding is set up. It's a beautiful thing. It's called the FEFP, Florida Education Funding Program. It ensures that your zip code does not dictate the quality of your education. So if you live in a lower income area, you have access to the same high quality education that people who live on Sanibel have.
The way it should be.
Live
Right.
The way it should be, but not the way it is in other parts of the country, right? You gather property taxes in a rich area. Those property taxes are really high, and so your education system is a little bit better in that town.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas right next door, it could be a lower income area with lower property values, and they're collecting less money in real estate taxes, and so their school system is not as good. The FEFP in Florida ensures that that doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a beautiful thing. And so when people in other parts of the county say, well, my money shouldn't be going to those few kids, well, your money has you've always been a donor to public education. And the same is true for people on the beach. And people on the beach don't like to hear me say this. They have been a donor to the school district
Right.
for a period of years. And
Right.
now they're asking Now they're asking for their money back, but it's not their money. This is a social contract
Right.
where everybody pays in and every child benefits regardless of where they live.
Right.
Am I making sense?
Yes, I think you made sense to them, clearly. The other question I have for you is, why would I want, let's say you expand the zone, like everybody's been talking about expanding the zone to get more of the kids to come to the beach school. Everybody agrees the beach school is great. The teachers are great.
Yep.
That's not even up for discussion. Why would I want to get in that traffic and bring and then ride on Estero Boulevard? The construction on Estero Boulevard over the next 2 years is going to be massive. To drop them off and then figure out a way during the busier times too. I mean, the traffic nightmare is going to be crazy.
Yep.
I mean, so how do you think that is going to contribute to the enrollment figures going up?
I am not in a position to predict that. So I am not a demographer. I can't I can't tell you how traffic is. Well, I mean, that's my job. You're rolling your eyes, Ed, but that's my
But
job.
you could answer me. I
my
mean,
job is to rely on the experts, and the experts have taken things like that into consideration.
and they say what?
You saw the projection numbers. They're in that.
Mhm.
The projection numbers the school district is using are not good. Which is why we're not saying we're going to rebuild this $24.3 million school
Right.
for 150 students going on forever into eternity. What I believe we've reached with B is a compromise. The fiscal conservative in me wants to mothball that building, but also the community builder educator side of me understands that this community needs a school.
Right.
And if they don't get that school back today, when I say today, I mean soon, they likely will never have a school again. And I can't be the person that delivers the knockout punch to this community. I just can't do it.
It also looks like the majority of the board feels the same way, that there should be a school on the beach. So what are we missing? What else needs to be in the ILA for you?
Student growth projection numbers.
Okay.
And
What's the number? What's the number need to be by when?
Again, I'm not a demographer. I need the superintendent and his staff to come forward with numbers that are reasonable, and come to some kind of an agreement with the town as to what they believe is reasonable. And what's the time frame we're looking at? Everybody keeps talking about a 3 to 5 year time frame. What if we're out in year 5 and we're at 60 students? Let's say, for example,
What
we've
happens?
only grown to 60 students. At that point, I think that the school needs to be turned over to a charter, and the community needs to be willing to either accept we have to go the charter route, or this school is going to close.
So that means what? Going to a charter school. How does that affect the community?
It affects the community, and it depends on the model they choose to go. They could do a municipal charter like we see out in Cape Coral. Oasis Charter School is a municipal charter where the town, the municipality itself takes over the running of the school. It could be a private charter, like
We're talking about a town that's basically looking for revenue from the state because of the storm. How do they run a school?
well, that's why they can't do a charter today. I mean,
Sure.
that would really be the best answer, is have them do a charter school today, but they don't have the ability to do that right now because they don't have the revenue. They don't have the people living on the island. They can't do a charter today. I think B gives us two options here on the beach. Number one, we can grow our student enrollment and remain a traditional public school forever, or we get them back up on their feet until they're at a point where taking it over as a charter is a realistic possibility. Not realistic. That it's just not realistic today.
And the thing that I heard about the charter school is impact fees, which they would put on new buildings and things like that to help fund the school. Is that traditionally how schools are paid for? Charter schools?
Impact fees are a tiny percentage of
Oh,
the
no
cost
kidding.
of building a school. Impact fees are next to nothing. But what charter schools do get is PICO dollars, public education capital outlay dollars. Over the time I've been on the school board, the state legislature has taken all PICO dollars away from traditional public schools and put them all toward charters. So after a charter is operating for 2 years, they begin to get those PICO dollars coming in. And that's part of the taxing system, and that would give them money for capital as well.
See. So a year from now, what do you think we're going to see over there?
A year from now, I hope a heck of a lot sooner than a year from now, we're over there celebrating the reopening of a school. And in a year from now, I hope to see the district and the town working closely together to grow the enrollment in that school as much as humanly possible.
So in the ILA, you said enrollment figures that they need to meet. There needs to be benchmarks that they, and if they, let's say they missed the first benchmark in the first year, then how do you reevaluate that?
We start to
Mothball
shift
the school.
we start to shift the conversation to, okay, it's looking like a charter is becoming more realistic, and we need to start to go down that route. Start to get the foundation in place to be able to turn it over to a charter whenever that year comes.
What is a charter school? How different is a charter school from the school that we have now?
Well, from my perspective, charter schools are much, much different in terms of the oversight required. Many of the laws that traditional public schools have to follow, charter schools do not have to follow. They can have their own boards. They have their own decisions made with regard to budgeting. There's a lot of things that they don't have to do. So they don't have to feed. They don't have to provide many of the mental health services. There's lots of things they don't have to do. And there are some really, really, really good charters. And then there are some that are just in it for the money. I would anticipate here on the island having a high quality charter that's about kids and community.
How realistic to you is making a library part of the school?
I have absolutely no control over the library. I mean, if that's something.
Would you feel comfortable that kids were going to the library, which is not part, with all the crap that goes on with schools and how stuff happens at schools, then you have a different facility where the kids are. How do you keep them safe?
Well, you ensure that SREF requirements are met.
I don't know what that means.
SREF requirements are the safety requirements that we need to meet in order to house children in a building. And, you know, one of those requirements is kindergarten and first grade children have to go to school on the first floor, which makes the library.
I didn't know that.
Yep. The library is not an option
because it's the third floor they're talking about.
Correct.
I see.
So I would feel confident having them in the library from a safety perspective, because before we can put a child in that building, the SREF requirements have to be met.
Well, I had no idea. Kindergarten and first grade kids have to be on the first floor.
Yep.
Why?
You could
how do you come up with that rule?
You could ask me why on a lot of the state regulations, and
it's
can't
just
tell you.
It's just a state thing. They don't want them walking upstairs.
I have to assume it's safety and security.
I
If you
see.
have a fire in a building, for example, those little legs trying to run down the stairs are not going to be as effective as the longer legs of a second grader.
One of the things that a lot of the people, not a lot, but the people that I talked to on the beach were saying that we need to make it K through 8. We need to make it K through 8. If we made it K through 8, that we would have more kids. And the superintendent pretty much squashed that because the cost would be astronomical.
Correct.
He made it clear that the cost would be crazy because you need more teachers,
Correct.
You need more facilities, and we're nowhere near that.
Correct. We are nowhere near a K right now.
So what does go ahead?
But as a charter, you could operate a K-8 and not have to meet all of those requirements that the superintendent mentioned.
Yeah, but how do you operate a K through 8 in that small building?
Well, if we can get to phase B of option B or phase 2 of option B, then we would be looking at putting more money into the capital infrastructure on that campus. But again, that's dependent upon student enrollment and where those numbers go.
Why did the school sit so long untouched?
I mean, I really can't answer that question.
Was it wrong?
There has never,
was it a mistake?
I don't know that it was a mistake. I don't know that we were in a position as a district to understand whether the building was savable, what the Federal Register was going to require of us. We just were in a position where it was so badly damaged that we had no idea what the future of it was going to be. And it's sitting there did not make it worse. It was already as bad as it was going to get.
The mold wasn't making it worse?
The day after the hurricane, that building was as bad as it was going to get. It was never going to get any worse.
Did Sanibel sit like that too?
That's what I've been told. No, Sanibel had 4 feet of water intrusion.
Oh, not as bad.
No, not nearly as bad. We're talking about the difference between being in a hurricane and being ground zero for a hurricane.
Right,
we are sitting in ground zero for Ian. Sanibel was not ground zero.
How can the beach community, businesses and residents get involved so that they can help enrollment?
A super strong, I don't want to call it a foundation because we already have a foundation for Lee County Public Schools, but a way to decrease those operational costs. What kinds of innovative ideas can we come up with in order to decrease those operational costs? Because I'll tell you what, if you can eliminate that 1.2 million, and I think the number is higher than that this year, but the difference in operational costs, the amount of money that we are in the red to operate Fort Myers Beach every year. If you can eliminate that through community support, community donations, community charity, we can keep the school open forever.
Yeah.
Right now, operating each year at in excess of $1 million deficit is not fair to every child that we have across the district. Right. So I was talking to a principal about this, and the principal said to me, do you know what I could do for my kids in my building with an extra 1.5 million every year? And that principal has probably 2,500 kids in his building.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm torn, right?
Yeah. So what is the number? What is the number of students that they need to hit? Give us a round number.
I cannot,
100, 150.
I cannot give you a
80.
round number. I have not gotten that feedback from the superintendent.
When will we
yet.
know the number?
March? Whenever, a week before we vote on whatever option is brought to us.
How likelihood is B to pass?
Oh
After
gosh,
hearing?
I
You sat through that meeting. I watched
did.
it. They all seemed good on it, except for one member.
I am not going to predict what my
Nobody's
fellow
watching.
colleagues will do.
It really did sound like a
My
lot of
fellow
people.
colleagues who are phenomenal, by the way.
A great board.
Yeah, it's a great
it
board.
seemed like there was only one person. Well, one person didn't say a word, which I thought was odd. Another person seemed like she was going to be against it for fiscal reasons, and it seemed like everybody else wanted B, or they wanted something on the beach to be open, whatever it was. That's my read, but what the hell do I know?
I appreciate your synopsis.
Is there anything else you want to share with the beach people before we?
I want you guys to know that I personally have never ignored the beach.
No, never.
This is the first thing I think about when I wake up in the morning. And when I have a conversation with the superintendent, he always starts a conversation with, okay, what's on your agenda? And the first thing that comes out of my mouth is Fort Myers Beach. And he says, well, that's number one on my agenda as well. My family was in town 2 weeks ago for a memorial service for my mom. And all they heard about the entire weekend was Fort Myers Beach, because it is very much in the forefront of my mind. I am concerned that as part of a larger community that a lot of people have forgotten about Hurricane Ian. So I asked a question in a large group the other day, who here remembers Hurricane Ian? And some people are like, oh my gosh, how could you forget? And others were like, yeah, that was a long time ago, right? Because we're all in the same community, but the disproportionate impact of this storm is tremendous. People who live in Lehigh can't understand what's going on this beach right now.
Right.
I mean, the devastation, the loss of life, the loss of infrastructure is beyond my ability to describe. But if you're not living it and seeing it, it's easy to go on with your life and forget about it.
The thing too that is you can't really be emotional. You can't make it. I understand that, but you can't make an emotional decision for the school. It does have to be part financial. The
100%.
kids deserve a school, but there are dollars and cents involved, and people that pay taxes outside
Correct.
have to be considered.
Correct.
If you can get I'm looking at it from a gateway perspective. If you can get the numbers up,
Right.
let's do it.
Exactly.
But get the numbers up, and don't. You can't put out this fuzzy math kind of stuff where you think you're going to get them. I mean, you really do have to show, like, okay, where are they coming from? You know, the resort's going to, how many I know Patrick Van Ness has been working on, numbers and providing them. It doesn't sound like they mesh with the school board's numbers for some reason.
I wouldn't say that it's they didn't mesh. His projections are reasonable, and I would expect to see some of those projections be part of any ILA that comes forward. That's the whole point of that ad hoc committee, was to make sure the community's voice was heard in whatever recommendations come in front of the board. If can I pick on you a little bit?
Sure.
So I think I heard you say in a previous Beach Talk Radio about the beach school that $10 million or $6.4 million is a rounding error in our $2 billion budget.
I think it was Jim Matterholt, but it was on our show.
Okay.
It could have been me, but I don't think I would ever say that. I'm not that smart, but somebody did say it on our show.
Somebody did say it on the show. And my reaction to that was, oh my gosh, how could you look at that amount of money as being a rounding error? If every government entity treated that amount of money as a rounding error.
They
Can
do.
you imagine the
They
amount
do.
of waste?
Every government entity does.
Not every government
Every
entity.
government entity,
I am part
yes,
of a
every
government
government.
entity, and I'll tell you what, I don't treat it that way.
Okay.
To me, it's a huge amount of money that needs to be taken very
No,
seriously.
for sure.
Even in the context of a $2 billion budget, that's a lot of
Yeah.
money that I have a responsibility to be efficient
You couldn't
with.
find $6.4 million of waste in that $2 billion budget and just throw it our way here on the beach?
Well,
You don't need to answer that.
most of your waste is going to be on the operational side, and we can't use operational
I
dollars for
see.
capital, but
I see.
regardless. And I hate to say this, but part of that $6 million in waste is the
Oh.
amount of money we're spending
Yeah.
to educate 52 students on,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean,
I
that
mean,
is
I know it's hard to say that because every kid means something,
right,
but it's
right. That's
it's
when you
52. How many kids are in the entire Lee County School District?
we're close to 100,000.
100,000.
We were above 100,000 before Ian, and we expected to lose a lot more than we did, but net, we are close to 100,000.
Now, you might not know this, somebody will know this. What is the actual number of kids at the school before Ian? 80-ish?
I'm hearing 82.
82.
From the
Okay, so it's
audience.
50-ish now, 82 if nothing happened. And I think the goal is 150. Is that what the goal is after all of it? It's around, I don't know. Nobody really seems to know what the number is to make everybody happy.
Well, I need to see what the operational numbers are at each stage. At 150 students, what does it cost to operate the school? At 200 students, what is it? So a number of students doesn't do me any good without some context.
I see. So one other question I had for you is the politics got involved in the school board to the point where the school superintendent needs to be elected now. I mean, that got crazy. Like now Bernier has to run. Do you know anything about whether he's going to run or when that election comes up or how that whole thing moves forward? I thought it was crazy that you have to elect a school board superintendent. How politics got involved in that. But so when is the election? When does an election come up for that?
24.
Okay.
2024.
Is he going to run? Do we know if he's going to run?
I definitely cannot speak for him, but I can tell you that he has been transformational in his leadership of the district. In many ways, we operated as a small town district, kind of, and he has brought an expertise of systems and processes that this district has never seen before. And he's forcing, and I don't want to say forcing because that sounds like a bad word, but he's forcing in a good way for us to grow up and act like a $2 billion organization that needs to be held accountable for every penny that's spent, and every process that's put in place has a purpose.
But you don't think that should be an elected position, do you?
I did not support the
Right.
referendum.
So can you imagine having a school superintendent that's a politician that has no education? That could happen. Anybody could run for school superintendent. How ridiculous that is.
It is very, very concerning to me.
Yeah. Well, on the bright side, I watched him at the meeting and I thought, well, he could be a politician, so maybe it won't be too bad when he runs. But to have to go through a campaign where your focus is not on the school district, now you're running for election, is bizarre. It's totally bizarre.
It is bizarre, and I'll tell you, having run, campaigning is a full-time job. So I don't know how you run a $2.3 billion organization that takes care of 13,000 staff members, 100,000 kids, and run on top of that.
Yeah.
But that was part of the downside of moving to this in the first place.
Yeah. Is the school board efficient? Not the school board, the school district. Is it run efficiently?
I believe it runs efficiently,
Okay.
yes. I genuinely believe it runs efficiently. I said it earlier. I've got 3 kids in our system.
Yeah.
If I see something wrong, if I see something that concerns me, that would impact my own children, I'm going to be the first person in front of a microphone telling you all about it.
Last question. What's your prediction for whether the school opens or not?
My prediction, I can tell you, I'm predicting a yes vote on B for myself. That's all I can predict. I mean, honestly, any number of things can happen between now and the time that this issue comes in front of the board for a vote. Assuming the ILA is reasonable, I mean, the community has my support for B.
Okay, great. Well, I think B is a great option to start with. And I mean, what's the worst thing that can happen? You have 150 students and then you guys have to deal with more
Correct.
students than ever. Then you'll figure that out, right?
And that would be a wonderful, beautiful problem to have.
Can we get a big hand for Chris Patrick, everybody? Thank you for coming on all the time. Thank you. And the meeting will be the vote will be sometime in March. One of the meetings. We don't know yet. Okay, March. So if you guys are paying attention to the school board, if you're not paying attention to the school board, we will always bring it to you live. We'll carry that live. So thank you for Chris has always come on. The issue is a tad controversial. On Monday, we're going to have the chairman of the school board on with Mayor Allers, and we're going to talk about the B option with him on Monday night. So tune in for that at 6:00. So I let everybody know that you work for the school district and you decide to abstain from anything that has to do with the school district, which I think is totally fine. So if anything ever came up about Radio Inc. on our show, I would totally abstain from being involved.
I don't think your job is going to come up.
So what were you doing during the last half hour?
I was mingling and
Nice.
kibitzing and selling some stuff.
Very
and
nice. Okay. Well, thank you to Alec for coming on, and thank you for. There were supposed to be two folks here to talk about this shrimp weekend. Are you guys here from the shrimp weekend? Very nice. So there you go, dear. So you're in charge of this. Have a seat. You're going to come around the next side, the other side here. Okay. And this is about the shrimp weekend that Nick is organizing. Oh, okay. Yeah. So I need to let you take this from here. I'm just going to run to the restroom.
All right. Sit down. Hi. Hey, how are you?
Doing well. Hello.
I have that one, and
Yeah, we're all.
they're from the
Yeah.
shrimp selling thing.
Right. We're here for Erickson
So
and Jensen.
since he just threw me in here,
Yeah.
first of all, give us your names.
I'm Anna Erickson.
Anna and
Brenda. Yep.
okay, there we go. And so we're here to talk about. Now we had Nick on last week, but Nick's a man of few words.
Yeah,
so,
of course, yes.
So we love him. He is a man of few words. So tell people about the event. Tell people what's going to be going on.
Okay, well, first off, we're proud to say that we are back in business running, and we are selling shrimp again. So Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6.
Got it.
Cash and check. We do have shrimp available again.
And give that out where you're located.
That's 1100 Shrimp Boat Lane. So please come visit us. Come get your shrimp. Chemical free, individually quick frozen at sea. Great product, a local product. So please bring your support.
Is that what they call pink gold?
Yes, that's the
Okay.
pink gold. Mhm.
I've had some of that pink gold, and it is a phenomenal.
Oh yeah, it's an amazing product. And
Yeah.
if you're visiting, it's something you got to do. You got to have it while you're
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, it's a staple. If you're coming down here, you got to have it. And I there was, when the shrimp boat went out for the first time, one of the shrimp boats went out and people were clapping. It just was amazing to see.
It warms your heart. It's a big part of this beach.
Absolutely.
And, they need us and we need them. So,
and I think there's still some boats that they got to pull off and get in, but you guys are up and running.
We have 5 boats floating. 4 of them are fishing as we speak. So, we're very blessed to be back functioning.
Wow. And how far out do they go? Now I'm going to ask you.
To the Tortugas. That's actually where they catch the shrimp. Yes. It's off Key West.
I'm doing that just because if anyone listens, that's one of the places that I talk about that I want to go. I'm not sure that would be the route that I don't know. Because if you go on a fishing boat, could they drop me off, just throw me out off the side at the Dry Tortugas and pick me up on the way back?
You could go long lining out there. You could be fishing out there, no doubt.
And so it's the shrimp crawl.
Yeah, so we're doing a shrimp crawl. Unfortunately, because of Ian, we're not going to be able to have Shrimp Fest this year. Lions Club usually hosts that every year.
Yeah.
And gets donations from that go to building scholarships for the community. Let me get this in quotations correctly said, but hold on here.
Erickson and Jensen, and that's where you guys are from.
So the Lions Club gives.
You know what? If I had looked up and looked at your nifty hat, I would have had that clue right there.
So it's the We Serve Scholarship Fund.
Okay.
And, we want to keep that rolling. So we're going to be giving some of the proceeds from the shrimp crawl to that. We can't give up on the town and what it creates. So.
And that's March 12th?
March 11th
March
and 12th.
11th and 12th.
So we'll be having free parking at the shrimp docks. People can come down. They can see, the progression of what we've been going through with Ian and how we've evolved and what's going on. Brenda has a food truck in the past that the hurricane took it away, had a food truck, and served the shrimp at the shrimp docks there. So she'll be having kind of a last hurrah situation, right?
Tacos, all the shrimp tacos.
So she'll be serving
What do you
shrimp
put
tacos.
in your shrimp tacos? Like,
Shrimp.
I know, spices, like spices.
A lot of spices. I home make a coleslaw with like a corn coleslaw. There's a cold coleslaw. So it's a really good, refreshing, nice little snack before you get to walk and enjoy all the other good restaurants and whoever's going to be open for us.
Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
we'll also have beer on donation, as well as I will be selling shrimp. So, swing back
now
by
the beer
after-
donation. They're donating the beer, but you're going to be selling it.
I'm going to be having beer on donation,
Okay.
to head towards the right place with the
Donations.
With the donations, right?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. So March 11th and 12th, and it's over at the shrimp. Now, how are the shrimpers doing? Because they were,
They're resilient.
Yeah. I mean, we're gritty people. So, we're taking care of what we have to do as a group. And we're just trying to get the guys back to functioning the way that they know best, which is fishing. So everything is heading in the right direction with that.
And how long have you guys been in business? How long has the company been in business?
About 70 years now.
Wow.
Since the 50s. So,
wow. And how long does one of those shrimp boats last? Like how long? Like, Alec, do you have them for 70
that's a
years?
trick question.
possible. When you're working with fiberglass. So
Now,
some
have
of
you
them have
gone
been
out?
around since the 70s?
Wow. Now, have you ever gone out and shrimp?
No. They go 30 days at a time. So that's you got to be ready to spend that kind of time on the water,
That's a long time with your friends. You're going to have to be really good friends.
You have
two
to
other
have a
people.
tight crew. Yes. 3 to 4 people go on one boat. So
That's it. 3 to 4 people.
right.
Oh, well, that's not too bad. So they have
No.
space to kind of spread out if somebody gets sideways or whatever.
We're a group of about 200, 300 people. And, we're a shrimp family. So even when we don't get along, we make it work.
We
Like
find a way
any
to make it
family would, right?
That's right. All right. Well, give everybody the information again and where they can find out more information and the whole nine.
Okay. So the event is going to be March 11th and 12th.
Starting at
It's going to be starting at the shrimp docks.
free parking.
1100 Shrimp Boat Lane. There'll be free parking. We'll have the shrimp tacos. We'll have beer on donation. Then you'll be heading to the beach after that, Snug Harbor, Wahoo Willie's. We're going to get a couple more places lined up. I heard Rude Shrimp was interested. There might be some.
A shrimp off. There
Yeah,
you go.
a
A
shrimp
shrimp
off.
off contest.
Yes, exactly. And, it's going to be great. A concert at Moss Marine at the end. It
Nice.
should be a really nice event. So I hope to see everybody out.
Are you going to be selling your super fantastic heart sunglasses? That is the big question.
Right. Need to get some branded Erickson and Jensen Hurt sunglasses.
There you go. There's a new idea for you.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
thank you guys for coming on, and
thanks
we
for having
appreciate
us.
it. And we'll, continue to push out the information. And as stuff comes up, just let us know if there's anything
Absolutely.
else we can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Come and get your shrimp.
All right, sounds good. March 11th and 12th, everybody.
11th and 12th.
Shrimp
Thank
Lane,
See-
1100 Shrimp
Shrimp
Lane.
Boat Lane.
Shrimp Boat
you.
Lane.
See you there. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Good
Ooh.
job, dear. Look at you
Oh,
doing
wow.
interviews all by
Yeah.
yourself.
Oh, I
You're going to
know.
need your own show someday. You
Oh,
won't
yeah,
need me to
right.
sit next to you.
Yeah,
So
I'll keep you around.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And before we go, dear, I got to tell everybody about, if your insurance company gave you a check the minute you called them, the chances are they didn't give you enough money. The chances are they just want you out the door so you don't bother them anymore. So what you need to do is you need to call Mark Dorston. That's who you need to call. Who happens to be here.
And he's here if you want to come down and
That's
talk
right.
to him.
Dorston Claims, 239-849-2949. Make his cell phone ring, ladies and gentlemen, because you don't have to pay for anything unless he gets you money. I mean, that's the best kind of deal.
Yep.
I'm going to try and get you money, but I'm only going to charge you when I get you more money because
Right.
the insurance company didn't give you enough money. Now, he'll also come to your place and he'll let you know you got enough money. If you got enough money, you got enough money. But what you need is peace of mind to know whether or not you got enough money, because you don't ever know with an insurance company. Did they give you enough? Did they try and just give you a check so they make you go away? That's what Mark Dorston does. Make sure that you get enough money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you can go to
It's
sleep
like
at
going
night.
to the doctor and getting a second opinion.
It's like getting a colonoscopy working with Mark Dorston. Something like that. I'm just
Wow.
kidding. I'm just
That-
kidding. I'm just
yeah.
kidding.
Sorry about that. Wow.
It's far less painful than getting a colonoscopy, which
There
isn't
you
really
go.
painful. Give Mark a call. He'll get you money. If you need a colonoscopy, you might need a little extra cash in the bank. And Mark's the guy that's going to get it for you. 239-849-2949. Sometimes the show just goes off the rails. Now, I thought the show today was very educational and informational and somewhat entertaining.
Well, I'm glad are you
Yeah.
happy with the product you turned
I
out
think
today?
today was probably a B plus. Wasn't
Nice.
it? Like last night's show was an A
Okay.
because it was nonstop laughter from the beginning to the end. Now, you can't be laughing all the time when you have an important school board member on.
Yeah, no, I mean, you have, yeah.
It was
you have-
very serious. But I think we got some good questions asked. I don't know if we got them all answered, but I think we got them answered as best we could.
Good.
What I
sounded
should
great.
say is I'm not sure the people on the beach liked all the answers, but you know what? It's pretty black and white. Get more kids and everything will be fine. More kids enrolled and everything will be fine. Right? I mean, that's the bottom line. So what are you doing the bike ride tomorrow?
Yeah. I'm gonna
Where does the
start-
bike ride start tomorrow? Everybody starts commenting on how lovely they love the bike rides.
Yeah, I'm going to start
Thank you, Sharon.
where I ended, which was the street just before Red Coconut.
Okay, and
then-
you're going
and then
south or you're coming this way?
Nope, going
You're
south.
going south.
And I know there were, I went through the comments from before. I'll have to look at them again. There were a couple of streets that I missed. I don't know how I missed them, but just to remind everybody, when I'm riding the bike, because of the sun, I can't see the comments. So it's not that I'm ignoring
Well,
where you're asking me to go or whatever.
well,
but
let me add to the confusion. Sometimes I comment on your
Oh.
bike ride, and it comes up as Beach Talk Radio, so it looks like you're commenting.
Oh, yeah, no, it's
That's
all,
not her.
No,
That's me.
All my hands are on the
Yeah.
on the wheel.
Yeah, she's
I got
totally
yelled at
safe.
by someone too. They were going to watch tomorrow to make sure I was using
Hi.
the bike, the apparatus that connects the
Yeah,
phone to
I
the
have
bike.
that.
Yeah.
So the last
bike
thing I
mount.
wanted to say was I was at Tuckaway Cafe today.
Yeah.
They have the food truck set up. They have some great sandwiches. They have outdoor seating. They have
Yeah.
plenty of parking. And I took a walk down Mango Street. Now
Oh,
you
yeah,
went
yeah.
down Mango
Yep.
Street a little faster, so I was able to go down Mango Street house to
Walking.
house and interview people. I ran into Rosanna Riley.
Oh
She's
yeah.
out there fixing up her houses
Nice.
and renting out her houses. So a lot of stuff in the mangroves. So yes, I did see a lot of stuff in the mangroves on Mango Street. Is that-
Yeah. That's where I was. Yeah.
all right,
yep, yep.
everybody. She is ready to go. So I am going to wrap it up here, dear. And thank you so much for being part of the show today. Appreciate it. We will see you tomorrow on the bike, Monday for Mondays with the Mayor, and on the Facebook. Thank you all for your coffees. You've done a great thing for us this month. So we appreciate you. We appreciate you all. Come to Wahoo Willie's. Bye-bye. Again. Can you move that out of their way now?